shame. Dear shame, it's hard to pinpoint exactly who and what you are because you are a chameleon, changing shape to blend in with every negative thought that crosses my mind. You snuggle up to my deepest fears and cloak yourself in my insecurities. Am I pretty enough, funny enough, worthy enough? I remember the day I called my cousin and told her I was having a baby and planned to keep it. She asked me if I wanted to be just another black baby mama, a statistic. Who am I but a single mother in a world where people are more concerned with the absence of a ring on my finger than the condition of my heart? Dear shame, I feel like certain things are impossible for me and I can't explain why, but I think it's because of you. I've become so attached to you that letting you go feels like a betrayal to myself. I crave your closeness because for so long you've been the only consistent lover in my life. When everyone else abandoned me, you stayed. Dear shame, I realized I only keep you around because I'm afraid of being alone, afraid of whose bed you'll run to if I kick you out of mine. Don't know whether sending you home will send me spiraling. Every time I think you're gone for good, I hear you tiptoe down the hall and sneak back into my room, and even though sleeping next to you is making me sick, I let you in. Dear shame, yesterday I told my therapist that being a single mother made me feel like a candy wrapper. It's like I only had value up until the point my son was ripped from my womb. His birthday was the day I became invisible, the day you and I became best friends. Dear shame, something happened last night. My son was sitting next to me, tugging on my arm for attention. I tried to tell him to give mommy space because she was busy writing letters to you again, but he jumped up, threw his little arms around my neck, and hugged me anyway. I put down the pen in my imagination and I cried. You've been lying to me about my identity. I'm starting to think becoming a mother is the best thing that ever happened to me. Dear shame, it wasn't until I decided I would rather die free from your control than continue to live in your shadow that I found the courage to walk away from you. But every time I take one step forward in healing, I take 2 steps back in painful memories. I once heard someone say there's a link between nostalgia and depression. I felt like I was walking in depressing circles around you until my friend Kobe helped me step back and see the circles had purpose. I've been spiraling, but I've been spiraling upwards towards who God created me to be, like he paved a staircase to heaven just for me. Dear shame, I am learning to ignore your whisper and reacquainting myself with the sound of my own voice. I love the way it sounds, even though it shakes as I search for the courage to use it. I asked God to let my journey of self-discovery be a lighthouse for other mothers sailing alone in the dark, even if only to let them know that they are not alone. Their story matters. They are not candy wrappers, and the breath in their lungs is evidence that their life still has purpose. Dear shame, I wish someone would have told me that all I had to do to get rid of you was expose you to the light. You are no longer welcome here, and I am free.
Every day we get down on our knees, asking God to Please welcome your host for the evening, Angela Johnson Reyes.
Hello. Welcome. Have you ever been cornered at work by somebody, or maybe at Starbucks or something? They start showing you pictures of their kid, and then another one. You're like, oh my gosh, this lady gonna show me another picture of her kid? And that's what I just did. I just made you sit through a video of my kid. You're welcome. You are welcome. Yes, I am your host for the evening. I am Angela Johnson Reyes, and my husband was supposed to be here with me tonight. Unfortunately, he was recently diagnosed with a very serious illness called the common cold. And as some of you may know, it hits men a little bit differently. So thoughts and prayers for him during this very difficult time. We appreciate that. But truthfully, he is very sick and wishes he could be here tonight. But luckily, I have experience hosting this gala by myself. I have hosted this event before, a few years ago. It was before I had a child. And now that I have become a mom, I have a different kind of connection to Claris and the important work that they're doing in the area of sexual and reproductive health, and how they've created a unique and personalized model of care. Now, my journey was a little bit different. My husband and I always said that we did not want kids, and then look what he did. I didn't have my first kid until I was 41. Yeah. That's wild. I said, you know what? I'm just going to make it an adventure, and I'm going to wait until I'm considered geriatric. That's what I'm going to do. Because that's what happens if you get pregnant after the age of 35. They consider you geriatric pregnancy. How rude. There are pros and cons to waiting this long to have a baby. Pro, I lived my life. I traveled. I did what I wanted to do. I had a good time. Hey, bah, 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 bah. Con, now when I go pick up my daughter from high school, all her friends are going to be like, Rosie, your grandma's here. But tonight, I am excited for you guys to learn more about Claris, and hopefully that will inspire you to donate and be a part of the amazing work that they are doing. Yes. Thank you. Claris means clarity, and this gala is called City Lights because of how we, through Claris, help brighten this city. There are more than 550 people in the audience and hundreds more online. Thank you for choosing to be here. It's going to be a great night. Yeah, give it up for yourselves. Y'all got dressed up, spritzed some perfume on, came out. Look at you, looking beautiful, ready to donate all your dollars. We want to acknowledge a special group of people who made tonight possible, our gala sponsors. They've collectively donated $240,000 to cover this event, plus to give us a huge start towards our goal of raising $500,000 tonight. This means that every dollar raised from here on out goes directly to programs. If you're watching online, you don't have to wait until the end of the night to give. Just click donate from our webpage or text the number on the screen. And remember, you can donate as many times as you feel moved tonight. I'll give a brief pause so you can go ahead and donate real quick. Let's take a quick look at what it's like when someone comes to Claris.
Meet Sierra. She just took a home pregnancy test, and it was positive. She and her partner were not planning to get pregnant. She is understandably overwhelmed, confused, and experiencing a lot of pressures. So Sierra searches the internet for help. She's looking for a safe place where she feels heard and valued. Sierra's search leads her to Claris, a community-based nonprofit in West and South LA. Claris has specialized in medical, mental health, and support services for pregnant women and families for almost 50 years. At Claris, she speaks to both a patient advocate and a medical provider who let her drive the discussion about her concerns and options, and care is tailored to her unique needs. If she chooses to parent, Sierra will be able to access prenatal care, parenting classes, baby supplies, and ongoing therapy. If she chooses adoption or abortion, though Claris doesn't directly provide those services, we have ongoing counseling, support groups, and peer mentors that can help her process or heal from their loss. This same compassionate and personalized care is also offered to her partner and extended family, building an even bigger network of support around her. Most importantly, Sierra leaves Claris knowing she's not alone and shares that she was treated like family. At Claris, we don't just wait for women like Sierra to find us. Our mobile clinic travels into some of the hardest to reach neighborhoods in LA, and we're growing. Our virtual services are educating, preserving, and reunifying families around the nation. Here in LA, we're planting deeper roots by building a permanent home in Inglewood, California, a community campus designed to unite service providers under one roof and creating a more seamless network of care. Claris means clarity. In a world that tries to divide us and views unintended pregnancy as polarizing, Claris stands in the gap, focusing on people, not politics, thriving families, and brighter futures. This is the Claris way.
The mission of Claris is to equip and care for people before, during, and after they experience an unintended pregnancy or a sexual health concern. Tonight, we're going to see powerful examples of how this mission comes to life. One of the things we love about Claris is that they focus on prevention and go directly into the community, into some of the hardest to reach neighborhoods, often before people even need their services. And they do so in collaboration with many other partners. Let's check it out.
They can't trust, and so Claris coming to us and providing that service there is really the ideal warm handoff. We're there with one another. They see us communicating with one another. They see the medical staff communicating with us, and they know it's not going to lead to just unnecessary involvement in child welfare or any other system. And so for us, it's been the key to really engaging all of our participants in medical services again.
We partnered with Claris as a testing laboratory. We serve both their brick and mortar and their mobile units. So fundamentally, I really feel that access to care and being able to help facilitate that through the mobile clinics is absolutely critical. Having grown up myself in Las Vegas, being able to get into the clinic and get care as a child was difficult. And so by having the services come to the doorstep of the home or doorstep to where people actually need to be served is really going to be a great facilitator in ensuring that they have that critical access.
So services we offer on the mobile are well women exams, which include pap smears. We do pregnancy testing and also initial ultrasounds for those who qualify. Also STI testing for male and female. And then we also do some gynecological services that check for like vaginitis panels, so BV, yeast, things like that. And then lastly, just a basic health assessment, really, which includes someone's vitals, so their blood pressure, their weight, temperature, things like that.
I went on the mobile today and I received a health checkup and a pregnancy test. I thought the staff was nice and it was fast. So, and it was kind of, it was pretty thorough though. I liked it. It's really accessible and it's really convenient.
And there was a student who walked by and she said, I've walked past you guys' mobile a couple of times, but never really felt comfortable to come on. And then one day I saw one of the driver's smiling faces and was like, today's the day I'm gonna come on and get services. And she came on and she happened to actually be pregnant and hadn't had a period for a couple of days. So she was very stressed. She came on. We were able to get her all the care that she needed. We gave her prenatal vitamins. We set her up at the West LA clinic for her to come in and be able to get services there, get an ultrasound, and we would just be able to be there for her. So that was really impactful for me.
I've want us all to think back to the very first time that you ever heard about sex. Maybe you heard it from a friend, maybe at lunch from the person sitting next to you, or on TV. There are few of us that were well educated on what sex is and how to make intentional choices surrounding it. But I would suspect that many of us, if not most of us, were not. I have the privilege of overseeing Reality Check, Claris's sexual and relational health education program, and our Reality Check team knows all too well how challenging it can be talking to this generation about sex. With the influence and all of the information of the world at their fingertips, they do not hold back. They love to ask us every question that comes to their mind, literally every single question. But it's a reminder of how desperately they want to be informed. So here I have a $50 bill. If I crumple up this $50 bill, does its worth go down? Anyone? No. And if I were to take this, and if I were to crumple it up and throw it in the trash, does it go down to $20? No, right? Because no matter what I do to this $20 bill, it still holds the same value. Sorry, $50 bill, it still holds the same value. And if I gave you this $50 bill, you would still take it, right? If I crumpled it up and threw it in the trash? Because it has the same value. And that same is true about us. No matter what we do or we do not do, we still hold the same amount of value. This is one way we start the conversation with our students, reminding them that they are valuable. When we then encourage and empower them to make decisions that reflect their worth and their value. We not only care about the students, but we team up with and present to parents to let them know that they are not alone in this wild journey of raising the next generation. Over the last year, we have seen nearly 13,000 students in various private, public, and Christian schools, all over the county. Here's a peek at Reality Check in action.
Well, good morning. It's been a while. Anybody got anything new happen since the last time I was here? Anybody in a relationship? No? Anybody broke up with anyone since then? No? All right, I just want to check. Reality Check is a program for Claris Health. There are 4 presentations, Sex in Your Health, Sex in Your Future, Healthy Relationships, and Sex in the Media. And I believe that these 4 presentations are so impactful and so necessary for every generation coming up. I love that it starts off with healthy relationships. So often when you say, we're doing sex ed or sex in your health or different things like that, you think about the act of sex, but not necessarily what should come before any physical activity, which is, do you have a healthy relationship? So I think that sticks out to me the most.
What Reality Check is able to bring in is so unique that I can't do it. It's a little bit of a different dynamic with students when somebody from the outside comes in, especially when it's somebody who is younger and knows more about the world of these young adults than I do.
I feel like the younger generation shouldn't be manipulated by false expectations. I learned the difference between illusion and reality, so I think that's very important.
You guys have access to so much information that you may or may not know what's real and what's not. And a lot of times, if you don't know what's real and what's not, you could be building insecurities or false expectations off of something that doesn't really exist, right? And so today, we want to talk about the power of media.
I think it's very important because it gives young adults knowledge about what they get themselves into, especially since social media has a very huge impact on young adults. We really don't know what we get ourselves into in social media until we kind of deal with the consequences. So I think it's very good to know prior to that so we could avoid things like that.
After one class, I think we maybe had 20 minutes of questions, and then they were like, can we message you? Can we find out more information? So I can tell when light bulbs are going off in their head, oh, wait, I didn't know this, or I didn't think about that. And I could tell the difference in mindset before and after the presentation. You guys were a great group. Again, my name is Rondell Eskridge. Thank you guys. Appreciate y'all.
Unintended pregnancy is much more common. Yeah, you can give them a round of applause. Yeah. Anytime you want to give a round of applause, you go right ahead. The world is your oyster. You have earned it. Every dollar you donate, you get to applaud, okay? Thank you. Empty out that wallet, ma'am. Unintended pregnancy is much more common than most people realize. Nearly half of all pregnancies in the U.S. are unintended. And these unexpected pregnancies don't just happen to certain types of people. You can be rich, poor, married, single, young, older. Think about that. About half of this room may have personally experienced an unexpected pregnancy or be the result of one. When you hear the words unintended pregnancy, what comes to your mind? You hear all those judgmental thoughts you're having right now? The world is filled with noise, hatred, and division around this topic. But Claris provides clarity in the midst of all of the chaos. We help dispel the lie that people in these circumstances are alone and only have one option. We provide the loving care that is often missing in the medical world in some of these most vulnerable times of a person's life. We are with you as you wrestle with these important decisions for months and even years to come. If you are here or watching tonight and you've had an unexpected pregnancy, or you're a single parent, if you've had an abortion, if you've placed a child for adoption, or if you've had a child removed from your home, you are not alone. You are not defined by these decisions or circumstances, and there is always a bright and hopeful future for you. Let's hear from Jessica.
So I first found out I was pregnant, actually, right after my sister's wedding. So I took a test at home in my bathroom, kind of panicked afterwards because it's an acceptance of your whole life changing. And in my experience, it was almost grieving a life that I thought I was on a path for. And so it was just a rush of emotions, excitement, fear, you name it. And I didn't tell anyone actually for about a month because I wanted to take my own time to process my own feelings without any judgment or without any insertion of anyone's opinions. Being in LA without family support, and having your first baby and not really knowing where to go or how to start these options, even doctor's visits, is very overwhelming. I first heard about Claris through a friend of mine who is also a coworker. I really needed an ultrasound. I didn't have a doctor at the time, and I was waiting for insurance to go through work. It's just so many new emotions and new experiences, and let alone your body growing and feeling odd in your own body, that I was, how do I talk about this? How can I express these emotions in a healthy way and not feel so overwhelmed? Kateryna just was like, come to Claris and come on a day that I work and I'll take care of you. And I said, okay, that would be so helpful. And as soon as I got there, it was just like a weight off of my shoulders. Having this outlet to go to has changed my life immensely. The biggest thing for me, I think, is not having a car or transportation of my own to get to and from appointments, and being a first-time mom, you're in and out of appointments, and it can be overwhelming to put together a bus schedule, or sometimes the bus isn't very reliable and they are late or they ride right past you, and it can be very frustrating. And when I mentioned that to Loida, my therapist at Claris, her solution was, hey, we can help you out with rides. Having those rides provided to someone who really needs them, it can take a huge stress off of you. Ultrasound appointments, parenting classes, therapy. It seems that any issue that I have or any worry that I have about what to do next or who do I talk to about this, I can go to Kat at Claris, or I can go to Monica at Claris, and everyone is so helpful, and it's really made a huge impact on my first pregnancy. This is probably the first place in LA that I felt truly supported in, especially versus other clinics that I've been to, right? Like, you go into a clinic and you feel like just a number, but at Claris you feel like you're a person, and they take your feelings into consideration and give you true, kind, and caring support. And I've never experienced anything like that. Oh, I'm most excited to meet my little one. I'm gonna get like teary-eyed, but I'm excited to see what he looks like. I'm excited to see the different connections that he and I are gonna have between the father and me, the father and the baby, and just being a new mom altogether. Like, that's probably the most thing I'm excited for, is just to see how I'm gonna show up for my son with all of these amazing avenues of support that I have.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jessica and baby Levi. Oh, you are the cutest thing in the whole wide world. I want to be your nanny. I want to be your Nina. I volunteer as tribute. Cutest in the world. You guys give it up one more time. Jessica and baby Levi, thank you so much for being here. You guys, I'm going to give you a little update here on how much we have raised together, okay? It's all on a website. I have to do it just like you guys have to do it too, okay? Okay, you guys, great news. We have raised $250,000. $250 and 17 and 82 cents. Listen, you guys, don't discount that $17 that's in there. That's still a lot. And this is live. Like, this thermometer right there, like the minute you donate, that goes up. It's live. We can all test it out in action. Watch. Everybody pull your phones out real quick. It's just for an experiment. You know what I mean? Just so you can see how it works. I want you guys to be able to see that it's live, is what I'm saying. So just type in, like, I don't know, like $100 or I don't know, just see what happens. Okay, if you've been moved by what you've seen so far, pause, give right now. No amount is too small. Please consider making it a monthly donation so we can sustain this work. For as little as $50 a month, you could make sure that someone like Jessica gets parenting classes for Levi. For $100 a month, you can make sure she gets the medical care and therapy sessions she needs. Claris isn't just about pregnancy. We care about emotional support around sexual and relational health. We believe every person is worthy of love and deserving of whole person care, connection, community, guidance, and grace. Meet Kinnedra as she bravely shares her story.
Everyone. 2020 was the year that changed everything for me. I lost my job, my business, my apartment, and my relationship. I moved back to LA to live with my sister with only $100 to my name. This was also the year of my healing journey. I was born in LA and moved to Chicago when I was 4 years old, and my mom had 4 kids. Then we adopted my little brother when I was 8. My biological father passed away when I was 13, and I grew up with my stepdad. I was very ambitious growing up. I played sports, and I was yearning for attention and achievement. In college, my life changed through a series of traumatic events. I was sexually assaulted, once as a freshman, then as a junior, when my best friend's boyfriend assaulted me as well. My life spiraled out of control. I abused alcohol and weed, and this became my way of life for 7 years. By 2019, I was exhausted. I had gone to church, but this time I began exploring who God truly was. By the end of 2020, when I moved back to LA, I knew I needed a change, and I began praying for a place to go for therapy. Around that time, my niece, who also lives in LA, found out that she was pregnant. She and her husband first went to a clinic where they wouldn't even let them in the room due to their COVID restrictions. She was so distraught that she ended up finding Claris online. Claris welcomed them both and gave them a new outlook in the midst of a very challenging pregnancy. A little over a year later, I was without insurance and needed a well woman exam. My niece reminded me about Claris, and I booked an appointment. The medical provider took the time to listen to me. She educated me. She didn't rush me out and listened to me share about my past experiences. She connected me with Monica, the patient advocate, who offered me therapy resources. It was just what I had been praying for. My therapist, Loida, has been amazing, and I've seen so many transformations, especially over the last few months. Therapy has really allowed me to have a safe space to talk about what I've been going through. Loida's unbiased opinion and expertise helped me to deal with the root issues like my father wound, which has impacted my relationships. She has helped me to learn how to deal with my emotions and my triggers, and has given me practical tools to cope with my anxiety. As I look ahead to the future, I am excited for the unknown. I believe God has very big plans for me, and I want to be an inspiration to other women who will hear my story and know that it's okay to ask for help. When we ask for help, we can see the biggest breakthroughs. Growth comes through challenges, and I have definitely grown through mine. Claris is changing lives one person at a time. Thank you to the donors who make Claris possible. You're supporting the staff who welcomed me, who made me feel like I wasn't a patient, but that I was family. This is way bigger than doctor's appointments and therapy appointments. These services allowed me to find my healing and provide a safe space for those without resources or support. What you are investing in is not going to waste. Thank you.
I grew up in China till I was 17, and then I moved to the Netherlands and studied and worked there till about 2 years ago. And that's when I came to US. So we came here to Los Angeles for my husband's study. Then we found a church near where we were staying, and just this one Sunday, Claris was having this community outreach. At the time, I was like, okay, I might be just become a volunteer. But soon, like I think a few months after, I realized I was pregnant and I had no insurance. Having this baby was not planned. It's like you feel like you have to enter a lake, but you don't know how. And with a boat, where's the boat?
I'm from Kharkiv, from place where the war started. And unfortunately, my family was 1 month hostages. And we didn't have place where to turn. All our houses was burned. We evacuated to Turkey, and I got pregnant. And unfortunately, my ex-fiance He had a problem with his head, and he cannot handle. He cannot work, handle himself. Now his mother care about him. So I had to make some choice and to be strong. So I come here alone. It was 7.5 months pregnancy. It's difficult to even say.
We still had that brochure I took for volunteering. So then I called Claris, and then Claris got me the first checkup. Both of us felt this intense care and love. And I was literally tearing up. It was not because I was sad, but it's really because I was so overwhelmed by the care and the attention that you were given and that dignity. People only say, "Oh, it's nice to be a mom. It's natural. It's so loving." But every real thing on the earth has two sides. I had severe postpartum depression. Yeah, I was having suicidal thoughts, and at home it was pretty hard. I felt like I was so confused. I was so angry. So Claris really just showed up. It's always there. I'd say it's always there, and I didn't know it had a therapy program. I was just trying out, would you guys happen to have something? Then I got a therapist. So yeah, that has been really helpful for me. I felt like I was trying to get away from it because it's so painful. But at the same time, I felt like it has taught me so much about myself, about life, about people, about humanity, about God. So it's a great opportunity. And I would say also Claris Health really, without it, I wouldn't have the space to do so. All the moments that I felt that I was I needed the most, that I was mostly helpless, just having no other options. And yeah, Claris was there and gave me options.
People who work in hospital give me contact of Claris. I immediately come here because I didn't have any stroller, any parents here who can help me or friends. So I asked my neighbor bring me here. So when I meet people here, Nikki and Benedict, I feel myself that I'm not alone here. I have clothes for baby, diapers. There are here amazing people, and it's enough. It's enough for me to handle first year. Actually, in different level of survival, people exciting different things. Almost 11 months I didn't have any holiday or weekend. I don't have babysitter or grandmother, grandfather, so really I excited when baby will go to kindergarten and I will go sleep. My special wish, I'm here almost 1 year and only one time I see ocean. So as I don't have car, I really dream when I will start to work and will have a car, so I can go anywhere, go for a walk with Misha, with my baby, to ocean, to forest, to any place, and these simple things that I really dream.
What a powerful example of how Claris creates thriving families in some of the most unique circumstances. These stories exist here in LA and around the nation as the Claris parenting support is expanding virtually. We've heard from a lot of women tonight, but this is not just a woman's issue. It's about men, children, and extended families. I'm honored to introduce you to a young man with a very special story. Please welcome Jvon.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Great.
I was born in Belize. I came to the U.S. at 6 years old and was raised in Long Beach. I was in and out of foster care, but I eventually went to stay with my grandma. I went out of town one weekend with friends and family. When I came back home, there was an ambulance outside. Everyone was screaming and crying. My grandma had died. She was everything to me. Her death caused me to have a lot of behavior problems and depression. I lived with my dad for a little bit and then was put in group home after group home. I called my family and nobody came and got me. Everybody left me. I felt like it was my fault my grandma had died because I was gone when she passed away. I spent my teen years doing everything for survival and trying to show myself how to be a man. I joined a gang and I finished 11th grade in jail. I got out, didn't want to go back. When I was 18, I got distracted by a girl, and the next thing you know, she's pregnant. I was too young to have a baby. I wasn't ready. I told her I would pay her to get rid of the baby. She got mad at me and said she was having the baby. And something in my head clicked that day. My dad never took care of me. Why should I regret this child? I decided I didn't want to be like my dad and not be a good dad to my child. My son Jairus was born October 8, 2021. God spoke to me that day. God spoke to me that day. Your life is going to change. You're a father now. Gangbanging stopped. Everything stopped for a time. After my son was born, I was trying hard to provide for him. But my job wasn't enough, so I started selling drugs, which led me to using some of the drugs. My girlfriend struggled as well, and we had a lot of conflict. It was bad, and the police were called. She ended up getting full custody. The police said the woman has the right to have the baby. Around the same time, I also lost 2 friends in a drive-by shooting. One died in the backseat of my car, and it traumatized me at 22. My life was hell. I decided to start doing good on my own. I stopped selling drugs and tried to be productive. The court ordered me to take parenting classes. They gave me a list of places, but they were all too far. I Googled virtual parenting classes and found Claris Health. I created a bond with Nicole, my parenting instructor, right away. At Claris, you guys treat me good. You create time for me and put me in a situation where I can understand myself more as a parent and believe in myself. My problems is all the grief and the trauma I've experienced, causing me to act out, but I'm learning how to control that and not act out. I'm now in a program working on myself. I'm set to leave this program in December 4th. and go to a sober living for 3 months. I want to continue my parenting classes with Nicole, even after the court says I'm done. In the future, I hope to start over and move to a different state. I made a lot of mistakes, but it's not too late to change me. I'm doing everything the court wants me to do to prove to them that I'm doing good. It hurts my heart every day to be away from my son. I want him to be safe. My dad blew me off, and I wanted to raise my son to be the best man he can. Something my dad couldn't teach me. I want to thank the people who support Claris for giving everybody a chance to succeed. These classes have been a blessing to me. Thank you for everything you gave me and for your effort to make me better than I was before. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Jvon. This took a lot of courage to come up here and share his story. He's an incredible young man. What a powerful example. Of what Claris is doing out here in the community. It's beautiful. I have the honor of bringing up our final speaker for the night. She's not a stranger to many of you. She's led Claris for the last 23 years. Which is wild because she looks 23, so I don't know how she did that. Her passion and huge heart for those in need has led Claris to set a standard of exceptional care that is unparalleled in the community. When she's not at Claris, she's likely not sleeping, but she may be sleep training babies or helping women give birth as a doula. Or you may catch her dragging her kids or carrying her dog on a hike. If you have had the privilege of crossing paths with Talitha, then you have experienced her generosity, her tenacity, and her superhuman ability to accomplish 3 times more than the average human being. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Talitha.
Oh my gosh, Jvon. I want to start by thanking all the brave people who've shared their stories tonight. You've touched me, and I know you've touched every person in this audience. And thank you all for choosing to be here over the World Series and for only watching under the tables. I'm seeing all the games under the tables, so thank you. The Dodgers won, it's over. Nothing to look at now. All lines up here. But we're just so thankful. And then I'm so blessed to stand here and represent Claris, but there is an army of staff and board members who help all of these stories come to life. So thank you all. Well, a few months ago, I was on a flight to Tulsa, Oklahoma to meet my newest little nephew, cutest. And a little secret, I love flying. I love the white noise of the plane, the uninterrupted time to clear emails, to watch sad movies, and yes, sometimes I cry. And my pilot brother says it's something with the altitude, but you'll always find me in a window with tissues just in case. And on this particular flight, I ended up watching a movie called One Life. It's a true story about a British stockbroker named Nicholas Winton. In 1983, while he was visiting Czechoslovakia, he saw the horrors of what was happening to Jewish families. And Nicholas jumped into action to pioneer what became the Kinder transport. They were trains that enabled 669 Jewish children to escape the Holocaust. Nicholas saw the value in the lives of each and every one of those children, and he believed that they were worth saving. There's a line in the movie where Nicholas is questioned about what he's doing, and this person says, "You have a lot of faith." in ordinary people? And Nicholas' response was, of course I do, because I am an ordinary person. And then he later adds, he says, that's just what we need, isn't it? An army of the ordinary. This audience tonight is filled with ordinary people, very different backgrounds and perspectives, but we are a collection of broken and healed hearts, of weaknesses and of triumph, and of so many stories that are still in progress. And we're joined together tonight so that people, even every person in this audience and every person watching online, would know that there is a hopeful future still available for you. And that feeling of hope is exactly what I felt when I walked through the doors of Claris in 1999 as a client. I was finally able to exhale. I knew immediately that I was somebody to the staff at Claris, and there's transforming power when you suddenly know that you're not alone anymore. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." So the Claris staff helped me believe that my life wasn't defined by my unintended pregnancy or the decisions that I made around that. The love that I felt and the healing that I experienced through the post-abortion support group at Claris helped me believe that God still had a good plan for my life. And the more that I healed, the more that I was propelled to care deeply for others in similar situations, whether they've had abortions, whether they've made adoption plans, whether they're single parents, or whether they're walking through other challenging situations. Claris gave me this deep sense of empathy for the world around me, a world that I might have been too busy or too proud or too distant to notice otherwise. Well, because this ordinary person's life was transformed, I could be a listening ear a few years ago when a donor's family member found out that she was pregnant. She was newly sober. She was struggling in her marriage and understandably faced a lot of doubt. And I was able to provide just a few words of encouragement while I was standing on a soccer field that this baby might actually be the very thing that would keep her on this journey of health and sobriety and growing in her faith. And about 7 months later, she gave birth to a beautiful baby boy, and he did just that. And because Claire, another ordinary person, experienced the love and support through Claris, and throughout her unexpected pregnancy and a really challenging COVID delivery, Claire decided to give back by sharing her inspirational story whenever she can, and she's decided to run the 2025 LA Marathon for Claris, and she told me that she expects at least 20 of you to join her. You can pick half, full, we've got it all. Sign-ups everywhere. Well, because Anthony, the former reality check director at Claris, was, yes, Anthony, many of you remember him. He is a favorite. Well, Anthony was so excited, and his wife would say that he was overly informed about pregnancy and childbirth when they found out that they were having a baby earlier this year. But Anthony asked this former boss of his to fly in and be a doula for them in Seattle. Cutest little baby. And because so many women in this room were personally touched by the story of a brave 17-year-old Claris mom, they decided to pay it forward by throwing a baby shower so that she could have everything that she needs for her baby boy. And because James came to this gala last year, and James heard a lot of the stories similar to what you heard tonight, this happened.
We're here in Venice on our way to probably the most anticipated meeting on my calendar this year. We're going to be able to make a big difference in a bunch of people's lives, and so I'm stoked for you to come along and enjoy the ride.
We started this company a few years ago, and part of starting the company, we wanted to make sure that 5 cents from every bottle sold would go towards a nonprofit, a cause focused on mental health services for the poor. And as we looked into the organization more and more, it's like, oh my God, this is an organization we should support. So 5 cents from every bottle ended up being a donation of $100,000 to Claris Health.
No. Wow. Thank you, Challenger.
Post-game interview, how do you feel?
Glowing.
I know, that was awesome.
That's nothing better.
I know, literally nothing better.
I don't know who that guy is, but I want to meet that guy, the shock guy. Well, Army of Ordinary People, we have big plans for this next year, and we need each and every one of you. So we plan to care for another 2,100 women and men with medical and support services. Reality Check is going to once again reach more than 10,000 students and parents and educators. And our family preservation and reunification program is going to support close to 200 parents in dozens of states. Parents like Jvon who search online and need the classes and need somebody that can bring them wherever they are. And a very exciting update. In June, we bought a building in Inglewood, right on Manchester Boulevard. Scariest thing I have ever done. Still is, by the way. But the leadership at Claris has such a strong conviction to help stabilize and strengthen families and to create a healthier and more resilient community. We have several nonprofits who've committed to join us under this one roof in this community center type facility where we will now be able to specialize through their help in primary care and pediatrics and substance assistance or housing assistance, insurance, substance use, domestic violence, and so many more. And some of those partners are in this room tonight. We're so excited for the future. And once we tear down what is currently on Manchester, we will build this beautiful facility. And it will meet, yes, it will meet all of the Art Deco codes of Manchester Boulevard. So you'll see us. And more importantly, or most importantly, when it comes to life, it will eliminate barriers and isolation, and it'll link people to critical services. It's also going to create a sense of community with gathering spots like a coffee shop and basketball court and playground and community events. We've already witnessed an army of support, people who've stepped up to help lay a super solid foundation of more than $13 million, including one passionate donor who has committed a $2 million match. So this means we only have to raise about $11 million more dollars. No biggie, right? Really biggie. But you may be inspired to help bring this project to life, and we'd love to connect with you after this event. And hopefully you have been moved tonight to get involved in some way, and you can consider becoming part of the vision that I've shared tonight. And we talked a little bit about our monthly donors, our clarity makers, the people who keep the lights on, and one-time donors of any amount. There's no amount that's too small. Will help bring all of this. So in a moment, in this live audience, there are bags on your table. We're going to ask you to pass those around, and we'd ask that you guys would fill that out just so we can keep in touch with you, keep you updated on all of our plans. And if you're watching online, you already know what to do. But I'll say it one more time, I guess. You can text Claris to 50155 or click the donate button. But come back because you don't want to miss what's coming up next. So I have the honor of introducing you now to a very, very powerful performance. So please join me in welcoming the beautifully talented Rachel Lampa.
Thank you so much, Talitha. And thank you for everyone who got up here, shared their stories. I wasn't really going to say much, but I just, sitting there, just felt like it's such holy ground, right? To be with people that either were the people that had to stare life straight in the eyes and say, okay, we got to do something. And then for you guys to be the ones that are looking back, and for you guys to be part of that, whatever piece of the puzzle that you find yourself in, to be the people that look back and say, yeah, you're going to be okay. And you're valuable, and you're loved, and you are important just because you exist, just because you were created. You were created by love and for love, and that's why you're going to be okay. So I wrote this song, and I felt like it was the right one for tonight. So. say you're only as good as your last success, and failure's not an option. Maybe that's why I'm exhausted. I held so tight to their applause that when it stopped, I thought that yours would too. Till you said that my heart to you is worth everything. Ooh. Don't gotta be somebody when I'm already somebody to you. Got nothing to prove anymore, so there's nothing to lose anymore. You're gonna keep on loving me for more than just the things that I do. So I'll see it till there's no doubt. Nobody can count me out, 'cause I'm already somebody to you. Ooh, I'm already somebody to you. So I release my reputation, the name that I was making for myself, for a story only you can tell. And if you said I was to die for, then I don't have to strive for your attention, 'cause my heart is worth nothing less than everything. Ooh, yeah. Don't gotta be somebody when I'm already somebody to you. I got nothing to prove anymore, so there's nothing to lose anymore. You're gonna keep on loving me for more than just the things that I do. So I'll sing it till there's no doubt. Nobody can count me out, 'cause I'm already somebody to you. Oh, I'm already somebody to you. Oh. There's so many stars in your sky, but I'm never lost in your eyes. I'm still the one you see, and you see a promise that can't be broken, the one you've already chosen, and I'm learning to believe, yes. Don't gotta be somebody when I'm already somebody to you. I got nothing to prove anymore, so there's nothing to lose anymore. You're gonna keep on loving me for more than just the things that I do. So I'll sing it till there's, I'll sing it till there's no doubt, because I'm already somebody to you. Oh, I'm already somebody to you. Ooh, I'm already somebody to you.
One more time for Rachel Lampa, you guys. Beautiful. What a powerful performance. A big thank you to all of the brave people who shared their stories with us tonight. It took a lot of courage. Thank you to all of you for joining us. Thank you to the production crew behind the scenes, perfectly orchestrating the evening for us tonight. There is so much to celebrate, and we couldn't have done it without you. Let's take a look at how much we have donated tonight. Mine says 346,841. Is that what that says up there? And 31 cents. You better remember that 31 cents. That was somebody's very precious 31 cents. Thank you. You guys, thank you so much for donating. And for those of you who are still thinking about donating, you're still considering, you're still, weighing out what you're going to do, I just want to encourage you. Personally, you've heard these stories. You see the void that Claris is filling in this community, in this city. You see that they're doing actual work that's making an impact. So if you can donate, please do. Share with your coworkers, share with your boss, share with your neighbor, share with that person you know who likes to donate to other organizations. Put Claris on their radar too. You know what I mean? Get the word out. Help Claris keep doing this important work that they're doing in our community. Now, there will be a recorded version of this program available on the site within the next few hours. To those of you watching at home, thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you a good night. And to everyone here in person, please stay seated because we're not quite finished with you yet.